Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans, and in it you can find opinion articles, podcasts, including ours truly, and also modalidades, if you will. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/Benfica Independent, where you can get merch, you can sign to get exclusive content, and share your Benfiquismo.
Ser benfiquista é uma crença. É uma religião muito grande. A adesão a um culto que é liberado, que crê, que é mental, que é o caráter das pessoas.
Calma de quem é grande, maior que os maiores.
É uma paixão com outra explicação.
Eu não consigo explicar o que é ser do Benfica. Eu sinto o que é ser do Benfica. É de facto uma paixão. E as paixões são assim, vivem-se assim, intensamente.
Aqui não há nenhuma razão. É paixão, paixão, paixão.
Ser Benfica. Até à morte.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another. Did I blow out your ears? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Dol Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças. As always, episode number 428 is what we're up to. With me, as always, Cristiano Oliveira. Como é que é, Cristiano?
Foda-se.
I was a little too close to the mic, and we're also with a new piece of equipment here in the studio, so we're still trying to learn this. But Cristiano, how are you,
Bro, I come out here dead with no energy, telling our good buddy Dave, you're going to talk. And then you hear that intro, and it's like, I'm ready to go, bro. I'm ready to rip off my clothes. I'm ready to go out there and beat somebody's ass. Man, that's some good stuff, Alfredo. That's some good stuff. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Benfica podcast.
Dave? What's happening? What's going down in the Great White North, Dave?
Nothing much. Cases on the rise, shutdown, lockdown on the horizon here, but still back here tonight. You got a new piece of equipment, but you don't have the producer Bruno in studio there. Come on, the guy knows everything and about anything about the new piece of equipment there.
Well, maybe that's why it's working fine, because he's not here.
So anyway, here we are. Episode number 428, as I mentioned. On tap tonight, we'll look back at the Kiev and Famalicão games. We'll look ahead to Benfica's last game of the group stages of the League Cup. And Benfica has another game this weekend against Maritim for the Liga B win. So the full packed December goes on as we mentioned, but here we are. Hope everyone is well. Welcome all the Freddies, Diogo, Carlos Amaro. Diogo was first in. Carlos Amaro was always good having you guys as always. And let's get this going. We'll start with the Kiev game. Benfica needed a win against Dinamo Kiev, and they also needed Bayern to beat Barca.
Como é que ficou o jogo?
O jogo qual, do Bayern ou do Barca?
The same game. It's been so long ago. I forgot we even played Kiev.
Yeah, I actually was I was actually watching it before I came over here, Cristiano. I watched the second half. The first half I watched last night, and if the first half made me sleepy last night, the second half I just wanted to throw my laptop out the window. But I'll give you the 11, and then we'll get started. Vlaco Dimos, Almeida, Otamendi, Vertonghen, Gilberto, and Grimaldo, Weigl and João Mário, Pizzi and Rafa, and Yaremchuk was up front. Cristiano, surprised that Pizzi got the start ahead of Everton?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Which one?
Yes and no. I was surprised he got to start over Everton, but at the same time, based on the way Everton's played lately, I wasn't surprised. So, yes and no. Plus, Pizzi's the type of guy we know that, look, he could create. We don't have a lot of those guys on the field at the time that are able to create and build up play as opposed to, playing on a counterattack. Pizzi's a guy that in years past, we all know he's got tons of goals in his feet. And I think JJ was trying to strike gold. You know what I mean? Pizzi, look, again,
his strike gold.
We were.
I've never heard the sentence of Pizzi and strike gold.
Yeah, well, he's done
in the same exact sentence.
Sure, Dave
against the Monkush.
That's exactly Dave. That's what I was gonna say. We anticipated this will be a good game. because it wasn't, it was against the Monkeys of the group. But that was not to beat on that one. What was it? Wednesday? I don't even. Dude, the game's so long, I forgot all about
Wednesday
this.
because
Wednesday
Porto
night.
and Sporting played Friday. Unfortunately, Porto didn't make it. Sporting did make it.
Friday, they play Tuesday.
I'm sorry.
Ainda
mais perdido ando. Yeah, but look, here we are, a game that we needed to win, and we started. We started early.
We started real early. Rafa, my man, giving a tribute to the Monkeys in the stands. I mean, credit to Benfica. They come out.
No, pa. You're already confusing the games.
No, I'm not.
Yaremchuk got the first goal in the 16th minute against.
No. Before that.
Oh, yeah.
Comes out of the run. Comes out of the gates running. I think Yaremchuk gets the ball, tries to bend it around the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper, his former club, right? I believe Davey played there, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to make an announcement. Before we proceed, just understand that I am not on my A game, barely ever, and especially not today. But if I recall correctly, wait, that was you watching the game, or is that while I'm talking?
You not being on your A game.
You're just showing off. You're just showing off your new gadget. What was I gonna say? As Yaremchuk tries to bend it like Beckham around the goalkeeper, goalkeeper parries it right into the and right there, if I'm not mistaken, and Rafa comes in by himself, the whole net in front of him, and I think he's trying to hit one of those Kiev fans that were outside messing people's heads up. I think he was trying to get revenge on them. And then fast forward like another couple minutes later, in the same identical play, a player goes around Vlaco Dimas, gets Vlaco.
It's even worse. That one is worse than Rafa's.
All I know is that they were paying tribute to Brian Ruiz. Was this, Dave? You're the stats guy. Was this on the anniversary of Brian Ruiz? Is this something like
Might
that?
have been at the definitely this. No, it wasn't the same net because Brian Ruiz was at the.
Brian Ruiz was at Alvalade. It was at Toulouse. But yeah, I mean, Benfica could have very well been up 1-0 seconds into the game, just like they could have been down 1-0 a couple minutes into the game, and then they kind of settle things down a little bit. They get on the score sheet, and it's like, all right, great, Benfica's off and flying. They get another goal, and it's like, all right, this is going to be fantastic, cabazada. And then where's the crickets? That's basically what you got the rest of the game. So, guys, we're moving up. Benfica podcast, we made it. Look, we don't even need fake ass producer Bruno. We can do this on our own. We made it.
No, and look, I think that that we needed to start fast, and we did start fast with goals in the 16th minute, and then Gilberto getting pretty much a gift. I don't know, how is Gilberto that much offside? Well, where's his defensive responsibilities? He's completely he's a good, I would say, probably 6 feet to 8 feet offside. And for you, Chops or Dave, what's 6 feet in meters, bro? I know you know this.
3 meters.
3 meters. He was a good,
right? Because each meter is 2
almost
yards. I mean, no, so shit. No,
it's got to be 2 meters, I think, closer to 2 meters or 2 meters.
6 feet is about 2 meters. Yes, Dave.
Yeah,
because you're like 1.98 meters. You like podcast. Yes, yeah, Alfredo. Yeah, I think 2. It's yeah. I don't know. You 2.5.
182 centimeters. So
this guy Carlos
1.8
is
meters.
smart, bro. We gotta get this guy on the podcast. So.
Carlos is a doctor. If you guys didn't know that,
What kind of doctor? Like a veterinarian doctor or like a people doctor?
he's a gynecologist.
Shut Chris right up.
So wait. Is he? Or are you joking?
No, Carlos is a very smart individual. From
he's
what
not a doctor.
I've been, he might be a doctor. I'll let him tell you that. Doctor do juiz. Doctor do juiz, he says. No, Carlos is a smart individual, so it's good that that he knows the conversion between meters and feet and all of that good stuff.
I don't know. Timo's saying 6'6", Carlos saying 6'5". One of them is wrong. I don't know if Carlos gets this wrong. He can't be too smart. I mean, the phone.
I don't even know it. So I mean, and
What's 2 meters in feet? Let's see who's right. 6.56. So they both got the 5 and the 6. So they're both right. You guys cheated. They cheated. You got a bunch of cheaters. He's looking for the but you don't even know what number to.
I'm trying to go to the next set, but it doesn't allow you to do the next.
I got you. Did you know 2 meters is 6 feet? No, what is it? It's 6 feet, 0.56. Guys, we made it here on the Benfica Pie. This is getting
Yeah, we got the
this is getting entertaining.
we got the sound effects going tonight, and so we're gonna
it's
try to
only
get
the beginning.
a little creative with these sound effects.
Wait until we learn how to work this. Then we're just gonna sit here. It's gonna be like the new cars that they drive themselves. We're just gonna be pressing button, one-liners. You ask me a question, I press the button, answer it. That's it.
But anyway, yeah. So Benfica started early, got those 2 goals, and then they went to sleep. Kiev then started, building up their attack. Benfica was just trying to control possession, playing on a counter. Second half, the same deal. And the second half is just, and I understand that sometimes you could control the game with possession and keeping your opponent away from your box, but this wasn't the case because Kiev kept on threatening, and if it hadn't been for Vlaco Dimos, it could have been close. Could have been close.
I think the most exciting part of the game was definitely the crowd going nuts every time Bayern Munich scored. That was exciting. I think they cheer louder for when Munich scored than when Benfica scored. What do you think, Dave?
Well, yeah, you could. I didn't know what was going on in the stands, but then it would make sense after either checking your phone or the commentator coming in and letting people know what was going on. But yeah, you could definitely hear it even through the TV.
Yeah. No, and at the end of the game, there was white handkerchiefs and masks, whatever was being waved.
I mean, look, I think it's a little bit unfair here, and here's why, and I'll explain my reasons why. I think in this game, style points were out the window. I think Benfica and JJ, it's hard to kind of defend this because we've seen Benfica lately hasn't played particularly well. We've not performed up to the levels that anyone was expecting. So I get that frustrating part. But in this game, I think we have to throw all that out the window. This game, the objective was to win this game, hope and pray and say however how many Ave Marias and Pais Nossos you're going to say in order to have Bayern, get a positive result against Barcelona, because that was the only way really, because we were going to advance. It didn't matter how many we scored on Kiev if Munich at the end of the day didn't do what they were supposed to do. It would have been all for nothing. But at the end of the day, look, it was good enough. Benfica got through. I think we were, expected Benfica to apply a little bit more pressure in the second half, but we've seen, not just JJ, man. I've complained about this for so many years now, which is Portuguese coaches. They tend to, once they take the lead in these big games, they tend to take their foot off the pedal, and it's like, all right, let's just make sure we're batten down the hatches, and we don't allow the opposition to score as long as we get out of it with the lead. And I think it came down to that, but also at the same time, this is the one part that was a little bit concerning. I saw in all of us, right, all the Freddies, listening and watching us, I'm pretty sure we all saw the same feed, which was there was a point there where JJ was screaming and trying to get the team to pull up and move up the field, and the guys just kept retrieving, and as if we were defending right on top of our box. And so, have they tuned out the coach? I don't want to get into that. That's conversation for another day. But at least in this one game, I thought the objective was completed. I thought Benfica handled their business. They did what they had to do. It was not pretty, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter if it was pretty or not. What mattered was the win. And Benfica got that. I thought the fans were a little unjust towards the coach, this is a day to, I don't want to call it celebrate, because Alfred, I'm a harsh critic about these people, because I think today the agency is not there. These fans today, they're content with very little results. But I think today, I think that Wednesday was a moment to just cherish the result for a couple of hours, man. Look, we haven't gone out of the group in God knows how many years. The last time we went to the Champions League, we lost to PAOK, right? We didn't even qualify. The year before that, if I'm not mistaken, Benfica had the worst participation ever in the history of a Portuguese club in European competition. So again, it's not to be going out of the Marquês and taking off your shirt and doing victory laps, but at the same time, it's a moment that we should savor and say, look, we're finally back where we think we should be. Benfica should be a club that strives for I don't want to say the bare minimum. The bare minimum is get out of the group stage. But I think Benfica should set a goal every single year to reach the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and then after that, anything. But I think Benfica could do that if run the right way. And I thought the fans, they were just, and the night that it was a night to turn things around, and a positive night, they turned it into a sour note, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually think that, despite thinking that the team didn't really play particularly well in the second half, I think that a lot of those handkerchiefs are probably the residuals from the Sporting game. People are still trying to digest that one, myself included. And look, it's easy when you could justify it in this manner, right? If you think that Sporting is being better coached than Benfica is, then you could accept the fact that they beat us. But still, losing to your rivals in the manner that we did at home is never going to sit well with anyone. So I understand. I understand that the fans were unhappy. The fans needed to express their displeasure, and they made it so. But I do get you, Cristiano. The fact that this was a momentous occasion, right? Benfica hasn't made it into the round of 16 in what, since 2016,
16.
16, 17 against Dortmund.
Yeah. So it's been a while, and look, anytime that you enter the Champions League, you want to be with the upper echelon, regardless of the differences in the budgets and the difference in the talent pool, the difference in TV rights. You want to be within that upper echelon. You want to be one of the last 16 teams in the tournament. So regardless of what happens after, I think that it's one of the biggest objectives right now is that. Or was that, even though JJ says his biggest objective was really to make it to the Champions League. That's what he said in the presser before the game. But nonetheless, Benfica is there. I'm happy, as every Benfiquista should be, regardless of whether we played well or not against Kiev in the second half or whatnot.
Forget the second half. We didn't play well after we scored a second goal. I mean, it was just. But again, I keep reiterating and saying it over and over, which I think, look, they had a goal, they had an objective, and they reached it. They could have played better. Benfica needs to show that they could dominate these teams at home, or at least create a lot more opportunities as opposed to just defend over and over. And as you stated, Vlaco Dimos stood on his head, and Benfica were helped out in that sense. But at the end of the day, man, I think you got to throw all that out the window. The important thing was the positive result to get the W here, and I think they accomplished that. And be that pessimist or that exigent, be that person that demands greatness from this club at all times. But you have to pick your moments. I think in a moment like that, it was just one of those. Look, let's move on. We survived to live another day, and we'll attack it when we need to be. Now, if Benfica played in the game in the very next game in the Liga game and they struggled, then we could kind of, all right, get back on it. But for that one night, man, I just think that Benfiquistas, I think, need to look at the bright side of things at times, as opposed to just trying to show their disgust with every current situation.
Yeah, look, I get both sides of the coin, certainly. But look, the next round doesn't happen until the end of February, and also beginning of March is a two-legged affair, and the drawing happened yesterday. The fiasco of that drawing, I don't remember ever watching a drawing and that had that type of a mess up. I mean, we're talking about very high level things that are organized to the T, professional companies that are hired by UEFA to run these shows, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, this is not right. This is not right.
If you think that was a mistake, bro, then I got a bridge to sell you over there in Brooklyn.
You think that just the temperature wasn't right on the balls?
I think it's something that they've gotten away with for years, and this time it just, whoever grabbed the wrong ball. I think that they didn't rehearse. It could have had a Cristiano Oliveira there. They're just doing his own thing as everybody's rehearsing, and he just didn't pay attention. Because look, they got caught doing something we all knew that they've done for years. It was just descaradamente.
No, pa, não digas isso.
É verdade, pa. É verdade. Look, I mean, if you want to call a draw fair, right? This is a sham from the get-go, right? This whole you can't draw teams from your own country. Look, I get it in the group stage. Fine. But after that, why not? Why can't Benfica draw Sporting if Benfica's won and Sporting, or vice versa, or Porto? Why can't United draw City? Why? Why are you always favoring the big one? Look, you all advanced. Everybody goes into a pot.
But after this round, everybody goes into a pot.
But why not now?
I agree with you.
Wait, you're going to tell me you want to reward the teams for coming out first? I get it, but I think you're rewarding them by giving them $2.6 million per win.
Yeah, I think that what that has to do also is the TV rights, right? So if all of a sudden Benfica plays Sporting, neither of them is probably going to get the same money as if they were to play another team.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Because at that point, it's about
because it's the pot is shared for the country.
Yeah, for the country. Yeah, but so they'll split the whole. Look,
but I think you're going down the right road there, Alfredo. I think it's more that let's say England, for example, they don't want both Manchester teams playing on the same day, or they don't want if there's two London teams, they don't want them playing on the same day for TV purposes. I think that's where it comes down to in that scenario.
No, that's because they try to get as many eyes possible on those games. And
yeah, that too.
Yes, yeah. About that, bro. If guys, I love you guys. If you think for a second that UEFA does anything, right, any decision with the fans in mind and not related to money, come on, guys, you got another thing coming. I mean, for Christ's sake. I mean, dude, it's all about the money. I get the whole TV thing, but at the end of the day, if you look at the breakdown, Swiss Ramble did a great breakdown. I'm gonna send it to you to check it out. And he talked about the money, how it was shared, TV money throughout other teams that have advanced to this point in the competition. And you get like Lille got 30 million because there's only ridiculous. Two teams sharing that money, is PSG and Lille. And you get like Villarreal, 27 million, I believe. You go look at the money received by the Portuguese clubs combined.
They're on that bottom.
Porto, Benfica, and Sporting combined $1.8 million. I mean, if that doesn't show you the disparity and the favoritism towards the big boys, I don't know what it is. They're making sure that, look, we're giving you crumbs. We're going to keep you coming back for more. But at the end of the day, we're taking care of our big boys in the back. They're feeding them turkeys. They're fattening them up for Thanksgiving. Yeah, the pigeons are coming out and getting the crumbs. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, and UEFA can make an argument that a game between Real Madrid and PSG is going to draw more of a TV audience, right? So if they draw a TV audience, they got ad sales.
But I think if they had the choice, those two teams will not be facing each other because they want those two teams to go deeper. They want the big boys to be, the deeper they go, the more eyes, expectations, and then obviously a PSG Real Madrid matchup in a semifinal is a lot more pressure packed than a Real Madrid. I mean, look, there's going to be pressure, but in around the 16, it's totally different animal. But look, that's UEFA. I tell you, I for one, which I don't understand what a lot of Benfiquistas were actually upset that in the second draw wound up with Ajax. Like, come on, dude, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
So let me recap everything that happened.
Before you do, just want to say what's up to Diogo, Nelson, my boy Mello from Benfica after 90, Michael from Canting Benfiquista, all you Freddies, thank you very much. Everybody's here, man. Keep the questions coming. And when I feel like answering them, I'll answer.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
So what happened was Benfica was actually the first team to be drawn out of in his first drawing, right?
Like our friend Neil would say, the biggest team in Europe comes out first. That's it. Picked out the right team.
The second team was Real Madrid. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, Real Madrid, we got Real Madrid. It is what it is. JJ apparently had spoken to Rui Costa and Domingos Soares Oliveira and Pedro Braz and told them, I want Real Madrid because I think we can beat them.
I think this one fits it better. Nobody believed it.
No.
Yeah, nobody believed that for a second.
So and then after that, as it turns out, Villarreal and Manchester United were paired up.
Which they were in the same group.
They were in the same group. So right away, that variant or that variable really wasn't supposed to happen. So that's when things started getting a little crazy. UEFA shut it down. We're going to take a recess. We'll be back in a few hours. Came back.
Madrid was not happy.
Drew again. And you know what the funny thing is that Sporting drew Juventus. Yes. Which is a team that right now is probably going through the same issues as Barcelona. Well, not to that extent. But it's certainly a team that it lacks the consistency that they had in years past. So Sporting was happy. Benfica wasn't happy. Scratched the first draw. Came back. Benfica now drew Ajax, which is a more accessible team, if you could
100%.
say, than Real Madrid, obviously. And Sporting draws Manchester City.
Yeah, well, I don't care about sport. This is a Benfica podcast. I care less.
I'm just saying that the irony of the whole
The
thing.
irony was that that Atletico Madrid complained about the whole thing. They're the first ones that put in the complaint, and then they wound up drawing Manchester United. Ronaldo, Manito de Dios, he's gonna go back over there. So we'll see what. But I don't care about that. We're talking about Benfica. For those of you that wanted to see Benfica play Real Madrid, get off the pipe. All right, little piece of advice between me and you: get off the pipe. I understand that Ajax is the Cinderella story. Everybody's all content with Ajax. Oh my God, they've done a tremendous job, and they have, and credit to them. A team with, I think Benfica's budget might be bigger, but I think if you were to ask me, Chris, when you think of Benfica, give me another team that compares well with Benfica. Describe another, and the team I would pick is Ajax. They have actually one more Champions League than we do. They both have, that mythical presence, the Johan Cruyff, Eusebio. They had the great, successes in the 60s and 70s, and then actually won one in the 90s. But whatever, the story is that those teams are very comparable. Benfica should maybe try to be a little bit more like that because they invest a lot more in their youth. But again, they have a smaller budget. Their country's smaller, yada, yada, yada. But they're the two biggest teams, most successful teams in the country. So I think that's a perfect matchup. Now, going back to Real Madrid, for those of you that are telling me that Ajax is this and that and then whatever, yada, yada. Lady, close your eyes for a second. We're going to do a little meditation here, all right? Close your eyes now. Dave, close your eyes. Envision for a second Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Casemiro, running havoc on our midfield. Could you imagine Mario? My boy Adel Trap, he's the only savior, the only one that can actually dribble around those guys. Come on, it'd be an absolute walk in the park. And I'm not even going to mention freaking Benzema. You want me to, what's his name? Vinicius on the left side, coming in one-on-one against Andre Almeida. I mean, that would be a horror show. Because come on, look, Real Madrid's still Real Madrid. We understand they're not the same bad boys that they were from a couple years ago, but they still have exceptional players. And Ajax is a team that is, developing those exceptional players to get to Real Madrid. Think about that for a sec. So, look, I'm happy with the draw.
Yeah, me too. Dave,
given the choice,
what are your thoughts, man, on this draw? Man, could have been worse, right?
I'm not happy with both draws. I'll put it that way. Ajax was one of the teams that I was hoping Benfica were to avoid. If I had a choice, it would have been between United, Lille, and Juventus there. But Ajax was one of the teams I was hoping we would avoid. Just as the Freddies are coming through here in the chat, they're an organized team, another young team. I think we could possibly match up well. Like Chris says, that Benfica and Ajax have a lot of similarities, but the way they've been rolling here in the tournament was one of the teams I was hoping Benfica would avoid here.
Bro, they're a nice team, Dave, but come on. Benzema. Ay, Jesus.
Hey, like I said, I didn't want to face Real Madrid either. They were one of the teams I wanted to avoid. I told you the three teams I was hoping we'd get, but even with the second draw, we weren't lucky enough there.
For a game against Benfica, the big bad boys, Benfica, Real Madrid might have even been able to get Gareth Bale off the golf course to come play. Think about that.
Maybe Hazard would have been healthy too.
He would have lost like a good 20 pounds in that week leading up to. Well, you got enough time between now and February. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a draw that I think at the end of the day, Ajax is more accessible. They're fine. They might be a better team than are. They're organized, yada yada yada. But we got the one guy that could really unbalance it, and that's Jota. The only guy in the whole Benfica hierarchy that wanted Barcelona, that knew. Come on, this guy's a genius.
You wanted Barca. You wanted Real Madrid.
No, but in a group. He said he knew he was going to pass when the draw came.
Estavam
todos cagados, todos a tremer, nobody believed. And he said, vamos passar, calma. He said, wait, this is what he said, guys. I hope, I don't know how to work this no more.
No.
Doesn't work no more?
I don't know how to work it either.
So fully.
No, so look, it was something that was tricky. I don't think you could change that, Chris. I don't think you could go to the next
What
match.
are we stuck with? Just the crickets and
yeah, we're stuck with the crickets and the buzzer.
Oh.
But we had a couple other things going on here, but we have to get more creative on that sound pad.
I guess Bruno is needed after all.
Yeah, he's needed.
He could have. They could have sent Bruno to do the Champions League draw too. They blamed it on software issues. I'm sure Bruno could have had his hand.
Bruno
in
could
the
have.
draw.
Look, either way, it's the end of February. A lot of things can happen from now until the end of February. We might have a new coach by then. Who
I
knows?
mean, the one good thing, well, no, I guess not. Never mind. He'll still be. I was gonna say Vris, but he had knee surgery. I forgot. Like I said, I'm never on my game, especially today. I thought he'd be back, but yeah, he's out most likely to the end of the season. But hey, maybe Andre Almeida, be informed by then.
Yeah, it'll take him a while, but it'll get there. If he
Never
doesn't
mind.
get hurt.
Benfica at this rate will go buy another center back in the winter market. JJ probably wants another center back.
He does. He's looking for a center back, but JJ might not be there in January. We'll see what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
JJ got suspended today.
Got suspended for 15 days, but I heard that so did Sergio Conceição.
Yeah,
But he appealed, so he's
JJ
okay
will
to
appeal
go.
as well. JJ will
Somebody
appeal
needs
as
to
well.
call Palhinha's lawyer and find out how he
JJ
did
got
that shit.
suspended today for an aggression from what? March
Last season.
Yeah, it came out right on time. Now when it's time to play. Now, look, as we all know, Porto's got hands everywhere, right? The rumors are if Benfica were to lose the Clásicos, they'd fire JJ.
That's the rumor?
It's been, right? People have said that. I don't know. Porto is so enamored with JJ being there that they've made sure that he was suspended so like he doesn't lose and they don't fire him and they bring him back. So ultimately helping them out.
I never thought about it that way, but yeah, you might be right. Who knows, man? Who knows? But anyway, it's good to be in that far into the competition, for sure. Because had we gone to the Europa League, we might be looking at I don't know. We might be looking at extended a couple more rounds of play against other teams in the Europa League.
Mas caga nisso, man. Benfica has to play every game to win every
Oh,
game.
I understand.
Come on, bro. These Benfiquistas want to tell me we're a big team, passamos uns maiores da Europa, this and that, and then we're worried about extending another 2 weeks. I mean, who gives a shit, bro? We should strive to do the very best that we possibly can at the highest level, which is the Champions League.
Yeah, I agree. I'm happy that the team has reached the next stage. And if you asked me when the initial draw occurred, and we're paired up against Bayern and we're paired up against Barca, the chances of going through are very, very, very slim to none. If you ask me, at least when I looked at it.
What?
Benfica getting even out of the group.
Oh, I thought you were talking about now the matchup against Ajax. I'm sorry,
No, Benfica getting out of the group. I think that when you look at this draw, there's a very low percentage of Benfiquistas that thought that Benfica would go through.
Well, I don't know about that.
Realistically,
I think everybody. If you go back, I think everybody said that Bayern Munich is hands down above everybody else. We all understood that, and I think even I said here on the podcast, I said, look, Barcelona on paper still have better players. They have better quality players than Benfica do. But if there's ever a time you want to play Barcelona, this is it.
Yeah,
I think it worked in our favor.
You're right.
This was it. You know what I mean? Barcelona, as you mentioned, they're going through their turmoil, and we probably still said Barcelona would ultimately hold it down and come out, but it's not like nobody gave Benfica a shot. It's not like they said, "Oh, we're dead. That's serious. Forget about it. Don't even, Dave, don't even bother getting to the sand. Just stay in the water. You're drowning. Don't even bother getting. You're not making it." You know what I mean? So
look, we're there. That's all that matters. So in February we'll talk about it again. But for the meantime, we're in the top 16 teams in Europe, which is something they should be proud of. Absolutely, right,
bro. And money wise, financial wise, this is
it's huge.
This is where you want to be.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Before you go, percentage, Dave. Odds, give me.
Let's go 60-40 for Ajax.
I'm asking questions now.
Yeah, I'm not too far from that. I think that because of, and here's my reasoning, because of Ajax's consistency, because of how well they're coached, and I know that Michael said that they're second in
to PSV
in the league.
They have
in
3 draws and
Netherlands.
2 losses, I believe, or something like that.
But I think that because of the consistency and because how long that team has been together and that coach has been together, they probably hold a little bit of favoritism here over Benfica. And that's just me being logical and rational. Benfiquista, I'm going to say 70-30.
In whose favor?
Benfica. But logically, I think that it's going to be a 60-40 because of the reasons that I mentioned. What about you, Chris?
I started at 60-40. So Oliveira, stick together, baby. By the way, the Oliveira is on Saturday. Whoop that ass.
60-40 for Ajax?
Yeah, 60.
So we're all in agreement.
But no, man, you said 70-30. You say yeah.
No, 70-30
For
from
Benfica,
I'm
he
a
went
big-
the other way.
We're not even close. I said
my red glasses.
But I as the more I think about this, and I think the more the team.
What do the Freddies think? I want to know what the Freddies
Yeah,
think.
Freddies, give us
Freddies,
your-
what do you think? What in terms of percentage, of favoritism? What do you guys think? Fala, diz lá.
I'm leaning to 55-45 right now, AX. So things are getting a little bit even. Benfica could go out and acquire some serious talent here in the transfer. We'll see. I don't think it's over yet. So I'm giving Benfica a 45% chance, which is better than
Carlos says 25-75 Ajax. Michael says 50-50.
you said. Carlos is a doctor. Stop, maluco.
Hey, you don't have to be sane to be a doctor. There's a lot of crazy doctors out there. But Carlos already mentioned he's not a doctor, so don't
Here I was
try to get some
hoping, bro.
prescriptions.
I was
from
gonna ask him for
Carlos.
part-time. That was a kind gynecologist. I was gonna help him out.
Chico Marcelino, 47-53. Chico, can you just make like an even number? 47-53. How do you figure those 3 points going one way?
Chico just didn't want to agree with me on a 55-45. So he said, F. Cristiano, I'm giving a slighted cutter chance.
It's like the Price is Right when they go $1,
It's
right?
closer. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Mello, I think it's 50-50 if they can stop the counters. Have we been, how have we?
Who stops the counter? Benfica be the one on the counter.
Michael Madeira, 50-50 also. Carlos says he's a doctor of love. Well, no, not that either. So we will spend the rest of the program finding out what Carlos is a doctorate in.
I think it's slight advantage. Who said that? I can't read that.
Chico.
Oh, did he? I think it's slight.
I think it's slight advantage only. So that's why Chico gives it the 3 points going one way and 7 the other way. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I get that.
between now and then, we'll see what happens. I think Benfica could very well at the end of the month be a lot further from challenging for the league title here, and that might be their only savior is charging the batteries and attacking it in order to try to go deep, make some more money in the Champions League. So we'll see what happens. January transfer window is right around the corner. We don't know what team really will have heading into that matchup. So we'll see what happens at the end. What is it? Middle of February, right? February.
End of February. They got the dates.
I know,
23rd and the 15th of March.
Yeah. Timo, 55-45 in Ajax's favorite.
Celso
What else we got here?
Celso Ferovic to Ajax.
Nelson Carvalho, 25-75 if it was today.
João Felix saying to Celso Ferovic to Ajax. Bro, didn't we already learn with Zivkovic in PAOK? You want a repeat of that? And that was for free. I don't even think that was like double.
Those things usually come back to bite you in the ass, man. You don't want to.
Ferovic is burying those chances.
But anyway, look, it's still bits away. There's the winter transfer window that could always bring us surprises. And if Rui Costa decides that he's going to open the purse strings, and invest on some surgical positions, some positions that we really need to.
Yeah, just like Mike there was surgical. I mean, I hope they got a better doctor than Carlos.
He's a surgical. He needs surgery on his feet.
I'll tell you this much: the good thing here is that due to with the exception of maybe 2 guys, everyone else has pretty much been disappointing throughout the rest of the year. So the odds of us actually losing players in this window, I think they're slim. Darwin, if he keeps playing against 7 and scoring hat tricks, it's going to be tough to maintain this guy in Lisboa. But I think we're all right. I don't think we're going to lose many players unless some crazy injuries happen. But I think Benfica will seriously take a look at strengthening their roster between now and then. I hear from some people that Benfica is looking to subtract. I'm trying to put it lightly because my boy, I don't want to hurt his feelings. Subtract the Delta Rapt. I heard Maite is also on the chopping list, and Ferro is looking to possibly ply his trade somewhere else. But that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So Benfica is looking to strengthen the middle of the field as well.
Diogo Reis says Fenupau is 2, which means 80% Ajax, 20% Benfica.
Diogo's more optimistic than that normally. I'm surprised. I guess it's that. What do you guys drink over there in Canada, Dave, for the winter?
Poutine.
Coquito.
Liquid poutine.
No, Coquito is not there, right?
What, Crown Royal, Canadian Club?
I guess. What's his name? You just said his name. Diogo
Reis.
I think Diogo's hitting the bottle. He's a lot more optimistic than that.
No? He's probably put the kids to bed. He's having a nice glass of wine.
You guys drink Coquito up there, Dave?
What's that?
Never mind.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. So getting back to planet Earth, Benfica was in action again against Famalicão. Famalicão, who has been struggling this season. Benfica traveled up north to play Famalicão.
They're all up north.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Most of the teams are up north. I'll give you the lineup and we'll get into it. Flaco Dimos, Almeida, Otamendi, Vertonghen, Diogo Gonçalves, Weigl, João Mário, Grimaldo on the left, Rafa and Darwin, and Seferovic up front. Cristiano, I'll ask you the same question.
Nah, don't start with me because I thought the game was at 2 o'clock.
Surprised that Seferovic got the start ahead of Yaremchuk. Well, we then found out from JJ that Yaremchuk apparently has some fatigue issues, some muscle fatigue issues, and he was going to sit him.
So those
you didn't even make the bench, right?
So Dave, that was the only other option.
Gonçalo Ramos.
So I guess that was the only other option, Dave. So I guess not too surprised.
Or you bring in Everton on the wing and play with one of those strikers up front there, right?
Darwin, right? But Darwin, we've seen that Darwin's not the same player when he's playing with his back to the goal. He's a lot better. Darwin is a lot better doing exactly what he's doing now. And I've stayed, guys, roll back. Diogo, you tried to call me out on Twitter last week. Roll back the tape. I told you he was a lot better coming off the wing and being able to carry the ball up from the wing and taking players one-on-one, shooting, cutting in and shooting. The only one thing about that, and going back to this game, is, bro, you seen him. My man was in the box defending. I think JJ, you need to calm it down, but that's another story for another day. So, yeah, they could have played with Darwin in the middle, Everton on the left, but I just don't think Darwin's the same player when he's playing in the middle when he's got his back to the goal.
Yeah. That Vaca Loca needs to have fields to run.
Yeah, he does.
If he doesn't have enough field, forget it. He's done. He can't because he's not that good technically with his feet. A lot of his talent comes from that speed and that physicality and putting the ball past guys or chasing a ball down with shoulder to shoulder with a guy. His physicality then overcomes the guy. He's good at that, man. But Benfica isn't always going to have that space that teams are going to give him, especially when they play with a low block. But nonetheless, Benfica was early on a scoreboard. Darwin, 6 minutes in, Rafa assist. But here's the thing: I'm looking and I'm watching that goal. That's the goal that he gets the ball at the top of the box, cuts in, fakes out a guy, and then is able to open up some space for him to shoot, and he puts it on the far corner. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what a good forward is supposed to do. These type of moves: get the ball, control the defender, and open up a space to fire off a shot and make the shot good enough that you could beat the keeper, right? And you know what it reminded me of, Cristiano? It reminded me of Cardozo. Cardozo used to do a lot of that. He used to get the ball, and he always had that same dribble, that little short cutback, and he always used to beat guys with that move, and then he would just fire off a shot.
It's like a Matrex player.
Like a Matrex player, you're right.
Same trick. Why? Because it worked.
Right.
And Taquara was phenomenal. Touch to the side and boom, get it on goal. At least, in order to score, you got to get it in on goal, right, Dave? To use a hockey term, right? You got to get And that's exactly what he's doing. So credit to him for keeping that aggressiveness. But again, I don't even want to, bro. He's supposed to do that against these monks. But
Yeah. No, look, it was a good goal by him, and 8 minutes later, again, Darwin off another feed from Rafa, and I'm having a hard time thinking whether there was a pass by Rafa or you try to chip the keeper and he missed it, and then Darwin was there to put it away. I don't know. With Rafa, anything is expected, really. And then in the 25th. In the 25th minute, Famalicão would grab one back. But this is, again, as Chico Marcelino already mentioned in the comments, two early goals, and then the team just fades out. The team just, like, I don't know, they lower their levels of intensity. There's no sense of urgency. And then you allow a team into the game. And really, for the next 15, 20, 25 minutes, it was all Famalicão.
well, here's the thing. Dave, you want to say something?
No, Dave didn't. They've barely watched the game.
Well, I thought the game was at 2. So when I turned it on, it was 2-0 already. So I missed a lot of that early start. So that's why I'm staying quiet. But I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna try to answer your point. When the team gets up to 2-0, and all of a sudden it's as if they fall asleep. And I think a lot of that has to do with, look up and down that roster. Look up and down that starting 11, right? Take away Otamendi. Take away Darwin. And, well, Gilberto wasn't even in there. So out of that 11 guys, right? Seferovic, Rafa, Darwin, João Mario, Weigl, Grimaldo, André Almeida. So I'll go back. Taking away taking away Otamendi and taking away Darwin, there is nobody else on the field that has that intensity in them by nature. You understand what I'm saying? So when they apply it, it's because they're being told to apply. They need to. And so it's kind of like, once you go back, now you get this comfortable lead, and you're not an aggressive player by nature. You're not an intense player by any stretch. You resort back to what you normally are.
But let me ask you a question, right?
And so, again, it's going to be hard for Benfica to keep that intensity when the guys themselves, you don't have players on the field that apply that on the full 90 minutes, with the exception of Darwin and Otamendi.
I get that, but here's something that I'll ask you, right? Everybody knows that Chris has played a bit. In the rondos, right? So the little 5v1s or 5v2s, whatever. 5v2s, yeah. When it's one touch, there's more intensity to touch that ball around. You know, that you're not nonchalant because you got to be quick about it. And I think that I get what you're saying about the intensity in terms of how a player's natural traits are, but I think intensity could also be quicker feet, quicker movements of the ball. Don't hold the ball for too long. Don't pause the game. Just tap it around, and that's what I mean by intensity.
I see what you're saying, but I think at that point, once Benfica has a comfortable lead, that message maybe is not being transmitted, or just the players themselves, man. Like, rather than forcing a pass, rather than trying to do something that they otherwise wouldn't have, turn around, play the safe pass. We got a nice 2-0 lead. Again, playing in those rondos, bro, and playing in the games, too different. I've seen guys in rondos that are magnificent, and then the game started, they sucked. And then you get a guy like me. It didn't matter if it was 1 touch, 10 touch. I'm just, no, look, cada jogador tem sua pinta. You understand what I'm saying? And playing in a game when you actually have other guys competing with you for every ball, every 50-50 ball, embodying you and putting in as much effort, if not more than you are, if you're not an intense player by nature, it's going to be hard to maintain the full 90 minutes. And Benfica needs to find a way to get more guys on the pitch that play with that hunger, that play with that raiva, that match Otamendi, that match Darwin, that match Gilberto. When Gilberto comes into the field, I think every single one of us here at one point or another, a lot of us weren't content with him, but no one ever questioned his intensity. Servi, many times, all the Benfiquistas were in love with him because he committed himself the full 90 minutes. It might have been a fucked up 90 minutes, but my man committed him. He might not have done nothing positive the whole, but at least that aggressiveness was always there. And I think Benfica lacks that by nature because of the players' personalities on the field. Weigl is not aggressive. João Mario is not aggressive. Those are really your only two midfielders that you're playing with. So when those two guys are on the field, and look, Weigl makes up for it because of his positioning, right? Of always being at the right place at the right time. João Mario is nowhere near. So when you're missing those horses in the midfield, your team's gonna lose a lot of that aggressiveness, a lot of that intensity, even going forward. Because again, I'm a like João Mario is the type of dude that the building is burning down around him, the walls are coming, and he's walking his out, everything's crashing over, and he's just walking out. That's who these guys are by nature. You need to get more guys that match that intensity, bro.
Yeah, but I think that what I wanted to refer to is moving the ball a lot quicker than they were. Not so much the physical aspect of it, but the pace of it.
But those are guys that are lentos. By the way, João Mario is the type of guy that when you see
Yeah, but he
João
can
Mario
still
move
keep the ball
around,
moving.
he moving, but João Mario gets the ball like you don't see João Mario getting the ball, taking someone on aggressively.
That's not his style.
Exactly. So who on that field
But
with the
taking
exception?
people on, but he could still pass the ball quickly.
See, I get you, but I don't think you understanding me.
Oh, I understand you.
Could they?
I understand you loud and clear.
Can they? Yes, they can. But at that point in the game, when it's a comfortable lead, their natural calmness, their instincts in them, goes back to what they were. Calma. Agora, unless the coach is constant, and maybe it's a coaching thing, right? Then JJ has to stay on these guys to be. But I think he does. I mean, how many times we see this guy on the sideline going nuts?
You can even bring this back before JJ. We would always have these conversations with Vitoria and Lage too, where they couldn't be consistent or put in the full 90 minutes of the intensity. It's either one good half of being aggressive, and then the second half is complete shambles, or vice versa, shambles the first half and then putting it together in the second half. So I think it goes more into Chris's point about players not having this in the DNA, and Benfica and as a squad not having those aggressive players and more compliant and relaxed players. But that's something that's been going on for not just JJ. It's been for at least 6 seasons now.
Yeah, you could absolutely question, and I'm afraid you're right in question that when Benfica's up 2-0. But bro, if you don't get that attitude, you don't get that aggressiveness, you're not moving the ball quickly, you're not defending quickly, you're not getting in the game like against Sporting the week before, our rivals, you don't see that being applied in a game like that. You think it's going to be applied now when you're in Famalicão winning 2-0?
That's the truth.
It's, as Dave said, the DNA, bro. It's in you or it's not. Bro, you can put me on the field with 5-year-olds, and I will be the worst offender you'll ever see in your life. And then you put me on a field with and touching the ball. I could touch the ball with anybody. It's just never in me, bro. And it's like track back. I don't have that aggressiveness. And even going forward, I'm always going to play the same. That's just the way these players are.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Benfica needs a lot more. Look at our rivals up north. Their whole roster is guys. Some of them with skill, others don't have it, but they'll all chew through a freaking gate to get through the other side.
Let me ask a big question here, and this one comes from Michael Madeira. And clearly, there was at some point we felt that there was a rebirth of sorts with Everton, and unfortunately, he lost some of that tailwind. And now it looks like he's not even a viable option for JJ, because now he's getting Pizzi into the mix, he's getting Seferovic and Darwin into the mix, and he's leaving Everton out to come off the bench. Dave, what do you think, man?
With Everton, I don't know. I thought like you said, we were seeing him starting to turn around, getting more comfortable in Portugal, but it must be a confidence issue with that guy, because he does not seem to be able to put it together on a consistent basis. And sometimes we see it with these South Americans moving over to Europe, could have all the skills in the world, but not able to adjust to the European game. But massive disappointment so far from for Everton.
Yeah, and Michael, and Chris, and a lot of us have also said here that Everton is being asked to do things that he was never doing in Brazil: tracking back, defending, applying pressure. This was this was just the guy that they gave him ball on the wing, and he would cut in and do those things. He was never tasked with those responsibilities. So he's got a lot of things going out that are being asked of him that don't really come natural to him. So that could be a reason for that. Because when you spend all game defending, tracking back, doing the whole corridor, at some point you're going to lose that explosiveness that you have on that first step on a dribble when you're trying to take guys on. You may not have that gas or that spark in you to get past guys.
But I think that goes back to the conversation we're just having regarding aggression, right? And I think we need to tip our cap to a Darwin who he's going to do whatever it takes. You've seen him in this game. Guys, go back, roll the tape. You see him in a box defending at times and then making that whole left corridor and running because he's just that type of player that's going to run all day. He's going to fight. He's going to do what it takes to get to every ball. Everton's not that player. So you're asking him to defend and be aggressive on a defensive end. And now you're telling him. And again, look, you can turn around and say, look, he's getting paid very handsomely. He's a professional. That's what he's asked to do. That's what he's got to do. And fine, I can't argue with that. But the fact is that's not that's not his strength. That's not the type of player he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think who purchased him, who brought him over to the club, JJ, right, pushed to get him. JJ should know how to use this guy to the best of his ability. And I don't think JJ is using him right.
Yeah. Let's yeah, so the second half, JJ made a change because he noticed, like everyone that was watching the game, that Benfica was really at a disadvantage in the midfield, and Famalicão was getting the best out of Benfica. So he brings in Tarap, takes out Seferovic, who I didn't even know was playing, to be honest with you. So Tarap adds another guy to that midfield, and from there, Benfica was a lot more comfortable. Tarap, who's a guy that is very good going forward with the ball, can pick out passes. He may not be your best defender, and he may not keep his arms to himself when he's got the ball, but he's a guy that could drive forward. He's a guy that has skill. He's a guy that could take guys on, and I think that's what Benfica needed because Famalicão came out in the second half with a different attitude because the second half of the first half, if I could say that, or the later part of the second half, Famalicão really, I thought that Famalicão was better than Benfica, and they came out in the second half with the same spirit. They raised their lines, and I think at that point, when Benfica came out, and on Benfica's transition and counter, and Tarap finding the passes for guys running onto the ball, and we killed them with those. 47th minute, Rafa from a Tarap feed, and then in the 56th minute, 4-1, Darwin, also from a Rafa feed, hat trick for Darwin.
Open that play.
Yeah, he opened that play, but that made the difference, right?
Vision, bro. That's
it. Yes, and Tarap is by no means an 8. Tarap is a guy that just goes forward. He goes forward. His eyes are always, when's my next ripping pass going to be?
I get
that I can tear up defenses.
I get plenty of criticism, Alfred, and I tell you all the time. Tarap's biggest problem at Benfica, and Dave, is that he's playing with a bunch of guys that aren't up to his level. They don't read the game like he does. And I'll get stick for this, I'm pretty sure. But you've seen in a game like that, the guy is able to thread needles. He's able to pass, create, put the ball in places that the defense is not expecting. And I was speaking to a former Benfica player and a former Portuguese international yesterday, and we had that same conversation. And he was a defender himself, and he said himself that, it's a lot easier to defend half the field when you got guys on the field like João Mario and guys like that don't really pose that threat. When you got Tarap, you know at any time he's capable, whether he's going to beat you one-on-one or chip you and set someone up, and those are his strengths. Now, has he been consistent? No. I understand a lot of guys aren't happy with his performances, but again, guys like that, I think you should always give a little bit more leeway to those extra talented play, like Everton at times. You need to be, in my opinion, these players are special. They got to this level because they're different. And now try to make these guys robots, because that's what's happened in professional football. The skillful players being pushed aside, and it's all about the guy that can run north and south. Forget about the guys that go east-west. It's about north-south. And look, I guess for your team, it's going to give you better results. But at the same time, as a fan of the game, those East-West guys are the guys that you pay the tickets to watch.
Yeah. But for me, there's a huge takeaway that you could get from this, right? And this is not specifically tied into Tarapt, although he made a difference, right? To me, this is a valid argument why you should go to the 4-3-3 system with three guys in the middle, or 4-4, 4-4-2, if you will, because when you have a player like Tarap, which is free of a defending role, then you have a player that could create and that could get into the final third.
I'm a huge fan of a 3-5-2 and a 3-4-3 with the right players. I think right now, JJ Chapat, if he really wants to keep that Weigl and Joel Mari tandem together, a 4-2-3-1.
But you need a guy to push the ball.
Yeah, which again, a 4-2-3-1 going forward, it could be a 4-3-3. But yeah, I think you will have the ability to do that. But he's insisting on the three center backs.
But Mark Mello is saying, Cristiano, don't you think that if he was at a high rate that he would be able to elevate the other players around him? You're right. But did he not elevate Rafa's
the other day
intentions or Rafa's chances and Darwin's chances with the ball that he was able to spring from a transition? Look, I used to be a lot bigger on Tarapt. I think that Tarap's time at Benfica is dwindling down, but I'm not stupid, and I can recognize what he brings to this Benfica team, and his skills in terms of offense and his vision in terms of offense and his technical ability is something that Benfica doesn't have or has very little of.
To answer this question more directly, bro, if we're both playing chess together and my brain is so much more advanced than you are, I can move my pieces around all day. If you're not reading my game, I'm never going to elevate you.
Yeah.
You're not understanding what I'm doing. And again, I just don't think, like, you see Benfica from Seferovic, Darwin, Yaremchuk, Gonçalo Ramos, Pinho. Pinho might, I guess, you know what? Pinho might be the one that probably makes the best movements off the ball, but none of those guys are known for movement off the ball, for getting in behind the defender. You'll see a Darwin, why? Because of brute strength. It's just run in a straight line, get to the ball. You don't see these guys with those corridas that we'd make to get in a position behind the center back in order to be offside. You know what I mean? Those old school runs. You don't see many guys on Benfica doing it. Now, I know I'm being a little prankster and maybe stretching it a little bit when I talk about Tarapt. I understand why he doesn't play, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a fan of the player. I get it. I'm off that way. But I just think you guys are unfair towards him. When he does good, praise him for doing what he does. But when the guy's bad, you're real quick to come out here and, kick him all over the place. I just think that he plays different than everyone else on this roster.
Yeah. And Carlos, you're right, man. He read the game and he made the move that made the change. But here's the thing, right? Why isn't he able to do that more consistently? Because teams now know that if they overcrowd the middle of the park against Benfica, they're going to have an advantage in terms of ball possession. And both Weigl and João Mario are going to be running around like chickens without a head when they're always in a disadvantage, in a numerical disadvantage. So I think that maybe that's what you start looking at.
Yeah, but Alfredo, I'm a huge JJ guy, and I'm glad he got this one right. And in particular because it was my boy Adele. But that being said, I think that was the only one he got right. Everything. I mean, he got one right finally.
Well, as Sheik Marcelino said, the Benfica play style is so predictable that a guy like Tarapt makes a splash when he comes in. Despite all his flaws, he's the only one that thinks outside the box. And we can agree. We've been saying that.
And again, I'm not telling you this guy has to play. What I'm telling you guys, and hopefully Rui Costa, he listens. What I'm telling you guys at Benfica, what's his name, Rui Pedro Braz, right? The new Thiago Pinto, is it doesn't have to be a Delta up. But you have a great opportunity here in January to go get someone like that, someone that can play in the middle of the park, that has the ability to pick out a pass, has the ability to string a player on a one-on-one, has the ability to create, has the ability to take someone on one. That's what we need now. Somebody on Twitter said, "Look, it could be Paulo Bernardo." I haven't watched that kid play enough. And again, even if he does it in the second division for a reason. First division is first division, right? So until he does it on a more consistent basis, I'm not ready to say he's the one that could take on those responsibilities. But Benfica needs to go out and get someone that can do those things on the field. And if it's not a Del Trap, that's fine. But go get someone that could do that.
I think that Paul Bernardo is more of a Nate than he is of.
I don't know.
I guess we could say Tarap's position would be kind of like a 10, right?
Yes.
Not your classic 10, but the guy that is in between lines, the guy that drives forward, the guy that unbalances a team by pulling two guys or attracting two guys to him. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be Tarap, but it has to be somebody that's going to drive in that midfield, and that's what we're trying to get at. But yeah, so we'll never know.
I miss these days, David, talking for 20 minutes about Adel Tarap.
Well, especially if you're hearing that he might be on his way out, then really, who does that leave us with? If a player goes down like a João Mario or a Weigl, or even as we saw in this match, somebody to come off the bench, right? We're kind of limited in terms of options.
Very limited,
especially if we lose that up in January.
Yeah, and that's where we need to go. We need to get somebody that has similar characteristics.
Look, Benfica needs another center back. Benfica needs a real box-to-box midfielder, a guy that's going to have a tremendous motor, a guy that's going to destroy, that's going to be able to pick out a pass. They need someone like that, and I think they should be looking at this January transfer window to strengthen those two positions because...
Do they need another center back if they go to 4-4-2?
No. But here's the thing. If they go to a 4-4-2, no, Dave. But here's the thing. You have two dinosaurs in the center of that field. They could go down at any time. And so then you're going to revert back to, I like Morato, but obviously he's not counting on Morato. It's Andre Almeida. So if that's the case, go get another center back.
Yeah.
I'd rather play safe.
Premier Talk podcast. Benfica has a boatload of young players. JJ opts for old guys like Almeida when Morato should be in the lineup. I don't disagree with what you're saying. And JJ is known for this. As a young player, you have to be exceptional in order to be a choice for JJ. And you can count on one hand how many young players JJ has launched throughout his reign at Benfica. Not many. I could think of Gonçalo Guedes, perhaps was one of them. I can't think of many more. And here's the thing, right?
This is out of the way left back. That's great eye.
Yeah. But here's another thing, right? Think about the paradigm that has changed, right? In terms of JJ from what you had with Rui Vitória. After all, we moved from JJ to Rui Vitória because we wanted to tap into the Seixal more, and Luis Felipe Vieira felt that Rui Vitória was that guy. Lage made the transition. Lage played coach the B team. Blah 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 blah.
What we know now, was it because he wanted to promote or he wanted to fatten his pockets?
Well, that's a conversation for another time. But what I'm saying is that if you're a young player right now, right, and you're making a decision, and you got both a Sporting scout and a Benfica scout knocking on your door, and you're looking at the direction in which Benfica is going, right, which is it not given chances to the youth as much as when Rui Vitória was there and Lage were there. Now you're looking at Sporting, who is opening up doors for young kids, and regardless of why, if this is done because of the lack of money that they don't have to buy players, but the truth of the matter is that there's a lot of young players that have been introduced to this Sporting team. So the paradigm there now is that we're going to tap into our academy because there's some talented kids, and we're going to bring them up right.
Yeah, mas Alfredo.
And Benfica is not necessarily doing that anymore.
I disagree. We're not. I can't say they're not doing it anymore. With the exception of when Bruno Lage was there, they've never really done it.
Vitória, when Vitória was there,
Vitória played Renato, And then he had
Lindelof.
No, he played Lindelof after everybody got hurt. Then he had to play him. He played Ederson after Julius Cesar got hurt. It wasn't like everybody's healthy.
But the
these
kids were ready.
But
The
that's-
kids were ready to go.
But that's not a
But
Vitória.
Andre Almeida stinks up the fucking
But that's-
field every fucking
So-
game, and Muratu or Ferro won't get a chance.
To answer your point more directly, in the history of Benfica and Sporting, Sporting's always been known for developing players. Benfica never really given kids an opportunity. Again, I've stated here on this podcast over and over and over. For those of you that follow North American sports, Benfica is the Yankees of Portugal. They have that obligation, that pressure of constantly challenging for titles. Everybody, all these Benfiquistas here on the chat and all these guys on Twitter, they go nuts about the youth system. Fantastic. I do one of these to you guys. You'll be the same ones. You'll be the very first ones that when Benfica's not getting results, you'll whip out that hanky and start waving it, right? Because you're not happy with results. Benfica is not a club that can do both at the same time.
Chico, I get it, man. I get it that Muratu is naturally left-footed and he would be better suited for the left side of that center back trio. But look, you got Ferro. I don't think Ferro can do any worse than Andre Almeida.
Alfredo,
Do you think
Chris-
that Ferro would do worse than Andre Almeida?
entre eu e tu. Dave, I'm a little therapy session. Entre eu e tu. Do you even know what the hell Ferro could do? The guy hasn't. Ferro está furgento. He hasn't played in like 2 years. Do you even know? I mean, we think.
I think that Ferro would do. If Ferro Furgente, what do you think Almeida is? Todo porco bicho.
Ferro didn't play, right? Ferro left, didn't play with Lage when he came back.
He played well.
No, they won the season when Lage came back before he got fired. Then he lost his spot. Ferro didn't play with Lage. Went to Valencia, played a game, never played again. So that's 2 coaches. Came back to Benfica. We're on 3 coaches.
You're talking about Valencia, dude. We're not talking about a Moreirense or Vitória de Guimarães.
Benfica, bro.
I understand,
Valencia
but
wasn't
when
doing
you
much
get
last
it-
season either.
When
Though.
are you gonna get a chance at Valencia, man?
He did. He got it very first day.
The very first game he played
Against
That
Real
was- that was
Madrid.
it.
No, but the thing is, look, do I think Ferro could do better than Andre Almeida? I'm being brutally honest, guys. I don't know.
I think that he can.
Here's the Alfredo. Do you, man? That Ferro that we saw play, the guy that even in the preseason, my man was shitting his pants. You could tell his confidence is shot. You telling me that guy could do better? I honestly don't know. Now, the Ferro that we all saw playing alongside Ruben Diaz 2 years ago, absolutely. The last Ferro we've seen, I honestly can't answer. Look, I would love to see it. How about that? I would love for Ferro to get back on the field. I think
Yeah, but if he doesn't get chances, how is he going?
That's fine.
to,
I believe he should get a chance. That's what I'm saying. But I can't tell you for a fact that he could do better than anyone. I don't know. We haven't seen him in so long. The last time we seen him in the preseason, Dave, he was shitting his pants. Right? True or not?
I'm trying to remember that. But even then, I think he got called in against one of these lower second or second division.
É um ferrão. Mas a gente
No,
sabe.
but
Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
no, but you
No,
know,
no.
I think that Hugo's got he's got a point. He's got a point.
Bring Hugo back into this.
Hugo, if his name was Ferrão or Ferrinho, meaning Brazilian descent,
Why? But why? Why? Yo,
não fales com o gajo, não fales com o gajo.
no, but listen. We have to.
It's the J infatuation with Brazilian.
That's
players.
fine. I love Brazilians too. Yo, you have to be fair, guys. You have to be fair. The Ferro that we last saw, I don't think any of us. And look, let's be honest. Ain't nobody
It's still
not-
there.
How do you know it's still there?
You just don't. It's like riding a bike, man.
You don't lose it, but then when he played,
Mm,
but when he
I
played, he
think
lost.
confidence plays an issue there.
It does,
Dave,
but he's
you
got to
don't lose
start
it.
somewhere.
Dave, you don't lose it, right? But the last time we seen him play, you didn't have it. So what happened to it? That's a fact. That's all we know. Now, would I like to see him get an opportunity? 100%. Can I tell you, based on the last time I seen him play, the guy deserves to play? No, I'd be lying to you. Now, I like the guy. I wish he could revert. I wish he could regain that confidence because at one point, man, we all thought this was the future of the national team. Ruben Diaz, Ferro, side by side. It's going to be a beautiful thing. These two guys are going to form a tremendous partnership. And the guy from one day to the next, it was like,
We were even having the debate that who was better between the two of them, whether it was
Diaz.
Ruben or
Yes.
Ferro.
I know a lot of Benfiquistas that said Ferro was
All
better.
right, let's move this along. So so after the fourth goal, Benfica put the game away, and that's all she wrote. Good win for Benfica, especially after playing after both Porto. Actually, no, we played before Porto. I playing after Sport, but Benfica knows that they need to win.
No,
to
Porto played Braga right after.
Sporting played the day before. But yeah, good win. You need to keep stringing these wins and build up consistency. Now we turn our. Actually, I haven't gotten to Dave. Dave, let's go.
I know we're 11 minutes or sorry, an hour and 15, and we're still recapping games. Haven't even gotten to the previews yet. But
We're not. That's a waste of time, bro.
let's get into some stats here. Darwin with his second league hat trick of the season, first one against 11 men, like Chris had put it earlier. Puts him with a tie with Luis Diaz for the league's top goal scorer with 11 goals scored this season. And Rafa with a hat trick of assists in this match. First time in his Benfica career that he's had 3 assists in the same match. And Rafa leads the league with assists with 9 this season.
Right. So now we turn our attention to the League Cup. Benfica will host Covilhã at the Luz. And Benfica needs to win by 3 goals? Is it, Dave?
Three goals to qualify for the semifinals.
Yeah, so 3 goals would make them even with Guimarães.
No, Guimarães scored 2. So
No,
2
but-
would make them even.
No, but I mean the win would make Benfica even with Guimarães, but the goal average
One more goal.
it would be one more goal
Yeah.
than what we had. So, Cristiano, what do you think, man? We already know that Otamendi is not going to play because
Yes.
upon returning to his luxurious home in Arueira, he had some people waiting for him, guys with masks and basically
Screwdriver.
a screwdriver, put a belt around his neck and took him inside the house and got some watches and some jewelry and some cash, and not a very nice situation.
Despicable, bro.
Not a very nice situation. So he's a little bit shook up.
Does Ferro play?
JJ has already mentioned. No, I think Murato gets the nod.
Murato can't play on the camp.
Murato Almeida, he moved Vertonghen to the middle.
So Almeida's gonna play every day, all day.
Every day, all day. Almeida's playing. He's got
Well, his leg
pictures.
falls off.
He's got pictures. So, yeah.
5-0.
Tomorrow's the game.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow's the game, 7 p.m. Local time. So adjust your
2 p.m. here.
whatever time zones you're in. Just
5-0 off it is.
5-0.
5-0. I didn't even
think-
see the lineup. 5-0.
I think that Benfica struggles, man.
No, 5-0.
6-0 easily.
5-0.
Dave, what do you think?
I'm with you, Alfie. I think the team struggles. We always seem to struggle against these second or even lower division
Where's the game?
clubs for some reason.
Lush.
It's at the Luge.
At the Luz. 6-0. Dave?
I think it's going to be a struggle. I think ultimately we
what's
go
the score?
through.
What's the score?
Let's go. I'm going to go bold and go 2-0 here. Prove me wrong.
Oh, 2-0 is not bueno.
I know.
2-0 will be in the first 25 minutes.
I hope so. I'll put some money on that.
I'm gonna risk a prediction.
Oh, who's that? The voice.
Where'd Alfredo go?
This is Octo Predictions.
That's the voice.
The voice.
The voice. Yo, he's joined us.
I'm gonna risk a prediction. I'm
All the
gonna
way from
say-
Benfica FM into the Benfica podcast.
Yeah,
Welcome.
His voice got deeper after a couple of months.
I'm gonna say that
It was
Benfica's
the
gonna struggle.
vaccine.
Benfica's gonna struggle in this game. The odds for Benfica to win this game are very, very slim.
What's the score prediction, Mr. Predicticator?
The prediction, I'm gonna say Benfica 3-0,
Oh, okay. Sugar.
but it's gonna be late in the game.
Opa, decision in between the 90 minutes. We're good.
in between the 90 minutes works for me too.
Okay. Thank you for your participation here on the Benfica podcast. Look forward to having you on in the very near future.
You're very welcome.
Good, Alfredo. Good job by you. Great. Who needs a fake ass producer, Bruno? Look at that. A producer working magic.
Yeah. So that's that. Next up, Dave, we got Marítimo this weekend. Marítimo 5 p.m. local, an early game. What's Marítimo up to this year?
They're currently in 12th position with 14 points from 3 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses. Turned the ship a bit as they had only 1 win from July to the beginning of November. So they changed presidents, changed head coaches, and since then have won 2 and drawn 1 of their last 3 games. So a little bump up in the standings for them. Historically, between the two clubs, Benfica's won 67, drawn 18, and lost 12. Last time Marítimo have taken points away from Benfica at the Estádio da Luz was a 1-1 draw back in August 2009. And the last time Marítimo was beaten Benfica at the Estádio da Luz was all the way back in September of 87.
All right, we got let's see some scores here from the Freddies.
That's what game? That's the Covilhã game.
That's the Covilhã.
Yeah, that's the Covilhã game, if I'm not mistaken.
Ferro starts for Chico Marcelino, 4-1 for Benfica. I think that works too. Diogo Reis says Leafs up 3-0. I like the 3-0 for Benfica too.
Some choke artists.
What else we got?
Enjoy
here?
it while you can,
Yeah.
like Chris and I were saying.
Carlos Amaro, modest 3-0. Diogo Reis 5.1-0. Yeah, look, I think that Benfica will win, but I don't think it will be as easy as everybody expects. This
Chapada.
This
Now-
is a team that's going to lower their lines because after all, they're already out of this.
See, but if they were
Covilhã
playing,
doesn't have a
if
chance.
they were playing at home, I could see it.
But they're going to lower their lines,
Easy, bro.
and Benfica is going to struggle to penetrate.
Bro, Darwin's been slapping Monkus.
All right,
Where's this Marítimo game? At the
Marítimo
Luz as
game at
well?
the Luz
Oh, at the Luz? I'm
this
confident.
weekend.
I'm confident.
Confident also that
3-0.
3-0 again.
No, I said 5.
5-0 the first one. I think.
5-0.
3-0.
3-0 against Marítimo at the Estádio da Luz.
Right.
I think it's gonna, Benfica makes things interesting, but I think once they crack open that window, aquilo é tudo passar. Dave.
I like that 3-0 scoreline too for the second game.
This guy out free. Yo, pá, não faças os favores. I'm gonna mute all the Freddies, bro.
It's gonna be stuck on that for the rest of the episode here.
Chris, I am your father.
Now in Portuguese.
Thanks.
Sou teu papai.
Thanks, Chico. Thanks
Chico,
for that.
vai dar uma volta, Chico.
Anyway, that is all we got for you tonight.
What's your prediction? You always trying to copy.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking 2-1 Benfica
2-1, 3-3. Okay. Beleza.
versus Marítimo. Carlos is going 2-0. Timo versus Covilhã 4-1.
Is it against Covilhã or Marítimo?
Then Timo's got
Against Marítimo,
3-1
3-1.
against Marítimo. Yeah, it's a shame because we're all putting the goal in there because Benfica can't have any clean sheets these days. I don't know what's going on with that.
Just shut out Kiev, bro.
Kiev. I think Kiev.
Wait, Vlaco
shut out
stood on his
themselves.
head that game in the second half there.
What, Dave?
Vlaco stood on his head there, kept it a clean sheet there in the second half.
Yeah, he did
Vlaco.
come through in the second half, man. He did come through in the second half. That's all I got to say. But yeah, so that is all that we got for you tonight. Thanks, all the Freddies. Thank you guys for joining us and being lively on the chat. We appreciate the interaction. I know Chris does.
Yeah,
He
you
likes
guys
to go
are
back
the
and forth.
best. You guys, not except Chico with that your father comment, but everybody else was pretty good. Pretty good. Grazie.
Yeah, very good. Anyway, thanks all of you guys that were out there, man.
Thank you.
We really
Hello.
appreciate it. All right, that's all we got. Take care, everyone. Later.